Happy Wednesday, Crypto ZX Army. Appreciate you guys as always. Let's waste no more time and take a look at what's happening with XRP. Looking across the board, we are seeing a lot of green across the board. We saw Bitcoin going back above the 106,800 resistance. It's been speaking to you guys about that and how that opens the door for us to retest 109,000 to even 110,000. And that's exactly what has been happening. And this is something we've been speaking about on my channel day in, day out. Shout out to you guys who stick around and show a lot of support. So if you're looking at XRP, it's up 2.8%, price $2.25. We're down about 0.1% in Bitcoin comparative. The valuation at $132.3 billion and the 24-hour trading volume at about $3.5 billion. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So Ripple has applied for a U.S. national bank license. Yes, let's repeat that. Ripple has applied for a U.S. national bank license. The plan that they had all along, Ripple to be its own bank, and this is revolutionary, to begin with. And of course, we saw Circle do that. You could see Eleanor posted this just 2 days back. Separately, several crypto firms, including Fidelity Digital Assets, have applied for a national bank charter from the OCC, which would allow them to operate across state lines without money transmitter licenses. The application hints at a growing queue of firms hoping for approval under incoming crypto-friendly OCC chair Jonathan Good, who has yet to be confirmed by the Senate. Under the Biden administration, only one firm, Anchorage Digital, was granted a charter. Wow, this is insane. And SEC Chair Paul Atkins says tokenization is an innovation. My whole goal is to make things transparent. And remember, how does this affect, XRP or Ripple? Remember, XRP Ledger is that one-stop shop for, financial institutions, companies to come on board and tokenize their assets at one place, which again is amazing to see. And we're starting to see a lot of interest coming in, and that really shows you why there is interest, because of course, number one, it has that regulatory compliance aspect to it, and on top of that, it's that one-stop shop that just changes the game. And look, BlackRock Bitcoin ETF now generates more revenue than its S&P 500 ETF. What is this showing you? Institutional adoption keeps growing. What matters is building a sustainable infrastructure for the long term. Could not agree more with Octant.eth. Very, very interesting. And of course, look at this, ready for July slingshot. You can see, the M2 supply has been skyrocketing. We spoke about the M2 money supply just last night. And, Bitcoin is following. And I think, Bitcoin could actually break towards an all-time high very, very soon. We're pretty much on the neckline almost for us to, start heading up to that range, which of course is going to be very exciting for the crypto market. So Andrew says now traditional investors will have no problem buying XRP in a regulated instrument they understand on the U.S. stock market. U.S. is extremely equity-centric, having nearly half of the world's stock market value at over $40 trillion. As I've touched on before, XRP should be easy for the everyday traditional investor to understand. Cross-border payments suck, and you have a large U.S. company using XRP to solve that issue. That will be the selling point. Bitcoin is also easy to understand in that sense. Ethereum is not easy to understand for the everyday investor. Smart contracts turning complete, led by an eccentric charter of Vitalik, probably bringing more confusion than anything else. Solana and Cardano will have that issue as well. Not a clear, defined problem they tackle. Again, this is obviously Anders' personal opinion, but he sums it up very nicely how XRP is going to be easy for everyday investor that doesn't really understand how cryptocurrency work, but they can understand the basics to really understand what XRP is all about. Why you want an understanding? Because of course people need to understand before they get that exposure into an altcoin or a stock, whatever the case may be. So that's pretty much what Anders' point is. But let's take a look at what's happening with the market. Dominance has pulled down 65.31%, still really, really high. We want to break below 65%. I think that would be a great sign. Bitcoin is on the verge of breaking out once again. You guys can see we actually came up to $110,000 almost, and once again again more confirmation for us on the channel at 106,800 key resistance. We came back above there and we saw a major breakout, and we're currently retesting a very important level, which is our all-time high from the beginning of the year. If this is able to break out, I'm personally projecting we could actually see an all-time high this week alone, which itself is only about a 2.3% move from where we currently are. And the M2 money supply is skyrocketing. So is this time for Bitcoin to start that leg up? I personally think yes. Now, if you're looking at the price of XRP, $2.25, we wicked up to $2.29, just almost at that 233 zone that I've been talking to you guys about. That level is something that you guys want to be paying a very close attention to, because once we break out of that range, I think we are pretty much open to get back into the exciting zone. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you later from Crypto ZX, and peace out.